Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. You know, we're visiting here with Mackenzie McCoy, and when I asked her, hey, would you like to stick around and maybe talk about transgenderism? She goes, oh yes, I have a lot to say about that. So it's just been pretty crazy lately. There was a case that came, or that they're working on right here in Bismarck that we shared today, and it's just where whether it's Catholic or any religious business shouldn't have to pay for sex changes. Let's just put it out there, for sex changes, and they're fighting it, and it's looking really good.
So it's got national attention, but it started right here in Bismarck.
Right, and so right here it says, for Christian employers sue to stop Biden admin from forcing them to fund trans surgeries. For this administration to force businesses to cover experimental, irreversible, and often sterilizing procedures is inhumane and unconstitutional. And right now, you know, we're working so hard, you know, they're talking about the Constitution. We've heard things about the abortion. They want to get it wrapped up so it's in the Constitution. It's like, that's not what our Constitution's about. That's not what our founding fathers had in mind when they put a Constitution together for this great United States of America.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes back. They have keep going. I mean, after these Christian companies. I mean, it was back where what was that? I can't even think of Hobby Lobby when they said that we're not going to pay for birth control because that's not what they believe in,
Right.
and then they try to take them to task on it.
Right, and
It's
they
like
take
I
them to
have
court.
my own beliefs. You cannot force me to do. As you know, I feel like there's these few people that have these outlandish ideas, and then they try to spread it all over, and a lot of people just lay back and say, what do we do?
Well, there's a lot of people out there that are like, live and let live. You know, what you do in your bedroom or what you decide on your own is your business. But that's not how it's always happening. I watched a testimony that a father, a transgender couple, adopted a 3-year-old boy, and they were trying to make him they, them. And they said they went all over the United States to find someone that would do the surgery to change the boy into a non-binary person. And they finally had to go to Mexico.
Wow.
And I mean, that means that they succeeded. And this 3-year-old who had no idea what was happening to him had no choice in the matter. Like they said, it's irreversible. It's obscene and it shouldn't be happening.
And here's the crazy thing about that. All right, you can't vote until you're 18. You can't now buy cigarettes until you're 21. You can smoke them at 18, but you can't buy them until you're 21. And you can't have a drink legally until you're 21. So these are all decisions that you cannot make until you're 21 years old. But they're going ahead and making these decisions, and or even letting, you know, there's like 8-year-olds that want to be a girl or want to be a boy. They're letting them make these life-changing decisions, but they can't have a sip of beer till they're 21.
Or drive a car.
Yes. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's just, they're just trying to change the world. And we talked about transgender. There's a stat right now, and I want to say this is one of the Army ones, that 15, I believe we have that, if we could pull it up, please. A federal study revealed that more than 15,000 service members and 134,000 veterans identify as transgender.
That's disturbing.
It is, but this is another case where Biden went ahead and allowed them into the armed services so that the government would then pay for this transgender surgery. And we had a little talk during the break about transgenderism and transhuman and transistors for that matter, but it's just all very frustrating. Do you have an opinion on that?
I do.
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that. You know, if you look at it from the lens of life, this is, in my opinion, the final assault on destroying the sanctity of human life. Because if you can be whatever you want to be, then it's not special and beautiful to be a human being anymore. So why does it matter? You know, it completely destroys the sanctity of what God created and instilled in us with a soul when He breathed into us. And it destroys the special uniqueness of being human. So if we can be whatever we want to be, whether it's man, woman, animal,
Furry.
transhuman, then what does it matter?
Yeah.
So then, why then it doesn't matter.
Well, it's kind of like when we were discussing it during the break, you said it's like they're second guessing what God did. They're saying that what God created was incorrect or incomplete, or he checked that box wrong.
But there's one thing they never let you do. I mean, the proponents of this and saying, you got to let these people, this is how they feel, but they never talk
Feelings.
about when people go through the hormone replacements.
Yes.
And what that can do to you and the life-term effects that can have, and cardiovascular issues is a huge one. Blood clots is a huge one that can affect these people. Mental health issues. There is so many things, but they do not let this come out. And they bully the scientists and they tell them that they're homophobic and all these things, because if people are well informed of these side effects, there would be a lot of, I think, different decisions that would be made. And if people would say, we need to look in your mental health, let's look in your background, let's see maybe where this is coming from. Let's not just go and change our gender, because that is not always that will not help you. There's a reason behind this, and that's where we need to look into. But then I'm homophobic because I'm saying that we need to be well informed. And we need to do your due diligence, and you need to find out what is really going on.
But it kind of seems like they're doing the same thing that they're doing with abortion. Is they're not educating people, and they don't realize that you might be able to change your body parts. You still will not change whether you are born a male or a female. Those hormones don't change even if you mask them by influencing them with others. So it could be a situation where you need to look at some of the stats, because I think please don't quote me exactly, but the last stat that I heard was that up to 50% of especially men that have any kind of surgery or try to become another sex or a non-binary commit suicide. That's it. It's really, really high.
But they blame that on those of us that don't agree with it, that we bullied them or we made fun of them or we didn't accept them, and that's why they committed suicide. They blame the 99% of the people. You know what I'm saying? But I have a few quotes from some of the military issues. Let's take a look at this first one. This was from the Washington Examiner. He said, "This radical and new territory for a presidential administration to force taxpayers to fund sexual reassignment surgeries for those in the military," he told the Washington Examiner. "I'm compassionate towards those individuals who want to undergo an elective surgery of this nature, but taxpayers shouldn't be on the hook to pay for it."
Amen.
Amen. And then, "I would like to think the Pentagon would come up with a procedure. It's completely irrational to change your gender right in front of a conflict," he said. "A lot of the people in the military are outraged by this idea that you can just come in and get the surgery and be gone from your unit. Someone has to pick up the slack while you're gone."
Okay.
And then the last one, "Biden has made transgendered people a protected class because other recruits are not accepted if they have an existing medical condition that would require ongoing treatment," he said. "Sphere also predicted that many would join the military to receive free surgery." And that was the case. More people were signing up. And again, if you have a pre-existing condition, maybe it's asthma, maybe it's bronchitis, maybe you have one
feet.
leg shorter than the other, or you don't. What did you?
I said flat feet because
Yeah.
they used to not accept you in the military for that.
So then you can't be in the military, but yet we're going to allow someone to come in with knowing full well that they're joining just to have a transgender surgery. It just drives me crazy.
Well, they should be evaluating their mental health, because mental health, if you have a pre-existing condition in mental health, depending on what it is,
But see, it seems like they're trying to make this, progress it. It's like, this is okay. Any other mental health, if you have depression, maybe we won't accept
because
that.
they
but-
don't put that in that category.
Right.